Welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the boat I picked up last year. It is a 2017 Alumacraft 16.5 foot boat with a 2019 40 horsepower Yamaha engine on the back. There was a lot of decision making when it came to buying this boat. In particular, we did buy it used, so that brought down the cost quite a bit. When I bought it used, there was only 20 hours on the motor, and the motor came with the boat, so the boat only had 20 hours to begin with. So I laid out a few things that I'm going to discuss throughout this video on reasons why I went with this one in particular compared to the Tracker, the Ranger. The Ranger was just a little bit more, was quite expensive, so we didn't really go down that route. And then there was a couple more that we looked at, like I think there's an Eagle and stuff like that. So first off, we had size. Storage, longevity, yes, I know it's a big word for me, but we'll get through it. Power, and then the side console aspect of it, which I really like. We'll start off with size. Size was really big for me. I wanted something big enough to support the family and I. We could all go out together, plus we can go out with friends and everything like that. Size also went into determining, making sure that it would fit into our garage. Next, we're going to go into storage, and I'm going to let my twin brother that looks a lot like me take care of the storage aspect of it. So, you got the reins. Alright, so one of the greatest features about this boat is the amount of storage that you can put into it, and this way you're not all cluttered with everything on top of the main deck. You're not tripping over it. So, I'm going to go ahead, open this up, and pull out all the stuff that I have stored on inside this thing. So, obviously, life jackets, got those. I got a couple tackle boxes in here, but I'm only going to pull out one to make it easy. Also store the two stands for the seats. Rope with anchor, that eventually I got to replace the anchor because it's not big enough for this boat. So even though it's a pain in the butt, get in and out, but I got the fishing net in there as well. Then I didn't know, apparently I forgot to take these out earlier this year, but got a couple decoys in here as well. Weird. Ah, that was a fun time. That, not so much. Oh wow, there's even a 10mm socket in there. I will keep that. Alright, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. You know, the only thing that I pretty much didn't get out of here was some cold brews. Nope. Shucks. So we'll take a realistic approach when it comes to storage. That was a little over the top. There's multiple storage compartments inside this boat, which is really awesome. I know the Tracker was a little bit weird that they put the man, what was it called? Where did the fish go? Live well. They put the live well right in front of the center console, and it was just this random little bin right in the front. It looked weird to me. So I'll go ahead and grab the other camera, and I'll show you the different places that are awesome storage in this thing. Underneath the seats, these seats fold down, and there's little locking mechanisms right here. You just push those in, and then the seat will go up. If not, the reason why they allow them locked is this way you're going down the highway and you don't lose a chair like I did a few months back on the highway. So plenty of storage underneath the seat. It stays dry to me. I haven't had any issues. This padding's pretty good too. I added this step right here because the boat tends to get a little bit slippery because it's not the same type of material or same type of paint that it's like paint you with truck liner bed, but it's not on this. It's nice and it's smooth, which makes it slippery once everything gets wet. So this is the live well for the Alumacraft. In here, this is my booster seat. You think I'm joking, but realistically, I'm not. So I just put the life jackets in here. It is pretty nice. It's got a divider in the middle, and then fill, and then drain at the bottom. If you don't have these little ties, you better start getting some because they are amazing. These things are nice because they lock down nice and tight. It's nice and flush so you don't trip over it. So it's not really storage in the aspect where it's personal storage, but this is where the batteries and the fuel is. I threw my boots in here, and there's also some extra storage back here. If you did want to get a bigger tank, you can go ahead and do that. I usually get almost 3 hours. I'd say about 3 hours with this 40 horsepower motor. Then if you want to, you can also put a little bit of stuff underneath here as well. So you may be thinking that I'm joking when it comes to the booster seat, but as you can tell, I'm not the tallest person in the world. But even if I was, this whole setup doesn't really make sense. So I'll put you down here. Hopefully it gets a good camera angle. But anyways, even if you are tall, I don't like sitting this low to the ground. I don't like having my legs extended. This is not comfortable for me at all. Plus, it's a little bit hard. I mean, everything works out in this position. It just, for me, it's uncomfortable. I just like to, you need a flotation device anyways, or throwing flotation device anyways, but this way I feel more like I'm in a seat. This is just more comfortable for me when it comes to this type of situation. While you're here, might as well go over this console and everything. So you got your RPMs. I'm not really sure what's wrong with my boat, but it starts at 1100 RPMs. Then you got your odometer. Over here you got navigation lights, courtesy light, which is mounted right here, aerator and bilge pump as well. It does, I know this model did come with the fish finder or depth finder, whatever one you want to say. It did come with a Garmin, but when the guy sold it to me, he said the Garmin crapped out on him, so he switched it out with the Humminbird. This is the throttle for the engine. Super simple to use. This is your high idle lever as well. The engine is amazingly quiet, and I'll break off in the video and we'll do a little run test. I'll give you how fast it goes, and then I'll give you a noise test as well. Pretty much acting like you're sitting right next to me and we're cruising down the river. Alright, so just take a moment. Just act like you're in the seat sitting right next to me. Now just listen to this motor. That's it. Completely quiet. Even when I put a little bit of throttle to it, she's still pretty quiet. No issues having conversations with anybody. And then here in a minute, I will put it at full throttle with the camera running. Hopefully the windsock does good enough job so it doesn't pick up on much wind. So I'll probably just leave it down here when I go to do it, and I'll have the music playing as well. This way you get a general understanding on how quiet this motor is, especially at full throttle. So we'll go ahead and throttle it up right now. The other thing we can go over is longevity. This boat will probably outlast me. And some of you are probably thinking, well, Gordon, you got a pretty reckless life. That's like only 5 years. And my response would be that, first off, ouch. Second, you're probably right. But anyways, since it is an aluminum boat, it's gonna outlast a lot of stuff. It's gonna outlast the engine. The engine's gonna get replaced before the boat does. And regardless of how reckless, I guess durability should be on this list as well. I beat this thing up pretty good. I put it in places that it shouldn't be in. I wanted to just see how shallow of water I could get this boat into with using the trolling motor, obviously not using the big motor. It goes in about 8 inches of water. I can still scoot around with the trolling motor, but what a journey that was when I decided to push it even further. When I did decide to push it further, I was in this much amount of mud. Walking through that, yeah, I lost my boxers, I lost everything. It was not fun. But I pushed the boat out of the marshy place that it was at, and I wasn't even touching bottom. It was just straight up silt I was pushing it through. So it was quite the struggle, but I finally got it out. The amount of space that is up here is adequate for most people. Like, all you should be really doing is fishing up here, but eventually I want to get into bow fishing because that just sounds like a tremendous amount of fun. But you get that seat out of there, there's plenty of room to do anything that you want. There's plenty of room to do activities, I would say. Same with the back of the boat. I mean, there's plenty of room in the back of the boat, and what's also nice about this boat is it's like a mixture between flat bottom and V as well. As you can see, it's kind of got that V shape, so it cuts through the waves, but it also makes it so it's super stable when you're walking back and forth. It doesn't give that sway like you would in an old aluminum boat. There is a little video of me walking back and forth because I had to push it out of the little marsh that I was in with the paddle, so you'll be able to see that it takes that rocking pretty good. This is the 40 horsepower 4-stroke Yamaha outboard engine. Plenty of power. Oh, that sucked. I'm not even gonna go down that route. I'm not a power person. It's got plenty of power. It's got many horses in her. It's super nice. It's got a lot of features to it that I really like. Super easy to maintain. If you want to check out that video of me doing all the maintenance, I'll link it in the description below. But it's all electric. When it comes to propping the engine up and down, there is a lever on the backside. See if I can pull you around real quick. I probably should have started with this side to begin with. But all you have to do is pretty much reach around on the back, hit that little switch that I just showed you. And this is the locking mechanism for storing the boat up in the upright position. Just push it in, let it come back down, and rest on it. This way, when you're on highway use, it's not bouncing around as much. What's also really nice about this motor is the ability to flush it really easily. So you can go ahead and unscrew this port right here, hook in the hose, and just let it run for 5 to 10 minutes. This way it'll flush out the engine. You don't run the engine while this is in use. Anytime I take the boat out, I flush it out. Just get everything out, especially in salt water. I don't like bringing this boat into the salt water, but when I do, the whole boat gets rinsed off and washed. So there's many different setups when it comes to boats. You can have the center console, you can have the side console, or you can have the, I think it's called tiller or something like that, where you just control the motor in the back of your hand. I went with this aspect because it's more comfortable to me. Instead of reaching around the whole time, I can just cruise, and also with that, I'm more able to move around. You know, when I have my kid or anyone else, or if something moves, I don't have to let go of the motor. I can just reach up, grab whatever, grab a beer. No, just kidding, can't grab those. But it's much easier. I just like the side console idea better, and I can also store much in here. Side console option, you also lose that much amount of space in the front, but as you can see with this boat, I feel like there's enough space with it. I've been fishing with a couple of people and we made it work just fine. Along with that, if you have the Yeti Tundra 40 cooler, it does fit in front of the side console in the thing. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt because you kind of have to slide it out in order to open the lid, but it does fit in there. What also is also nice about it is you can use the Yeti cooler because it's pretty much the same level as the top platform, so you can use it as a walking path too. This way you get that extra space up on front to move around. Getting 4 regular sized people on here, it's doable. Is it comfortable? Probably not. When me and my family go out on this, we were doing just fine. I had myself, my wife, and the little one, and the 2 dogs with us, and we had plenty of room to do everything. I do have 2 labs, so they enjoy swimming in the water, and I'm glad this bilge pump is one of the things that are incorporated into this boat, because when they get in and out of the water, they bring, it seems like 3/4 of the lake in with them. But hitting that bilge and you can just pump all that water back out is quite awesome. I also went with this type of boat too, just in case I do some duck hunting with it as well. I mean, it's already camouflaged. I can do different types of configurations because it is aluminum boat, and it's not like it's fiberglass or anything where if I drill a hole into it, it has the potential of cracking, and it just looks, I think drilling into a fiberglass boat looks, if you know what you're doing, it looks good, but if you have to remove it for anything, it doesn't look that good. Along with that, with the durability and everything, I could scratch this up and you would never even tell that it was scratched, because it's made to be scratched up and everything. And this paint holds up pretty good. For being my first boat, I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. I can throw it in storage if I have to, if I'm going to be gone for a little while. And when I come back, I'll be able to apply a little bit of maintenance to the motor, and then I'm good to go. There's nothing else I need to do with this boat to keep it in good shape. So if you have any questions or anything, just leave them down below. I own the boat, so before you go out and buy a boat, just go ahead and ask me a few questions and I'll shoot them to you. Like, it's a big decision making buying a boat. But I hope you enjoy this video. If you did, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you on the next one.